Welcome to Home Remodeler Toolbox, the podcast dedicated to empowering remodelers and builders to build and grow successful businesses. Join your host, Bob Vance, founder of Home Remodeler SEO, as he brings you industry insights and strategies that will help you build a thriving business, no matter what level you're at in your business. Whether you're a thriving multi-million-dollar business or you're working on building your business from the foundation up, this podcast is your go-to source for industry secrets and actionable strategies that you can implement in your business to get to that next level. So, turn on, tune in, and let's help you build your business foundation one building block at a time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Home Remodeler Toolbox Podcast today. Today, I'm excited to have on Matan Schejter, the owner of Mission Home Remodeling. Matan's joining us today. He's going to talk a little bit about his journey in the construction world, which kind of began as a teenager building sidewalks, backyards, landscaping that, outdoor living space, in other words. And that really grew into a deeper passion for Matan. And then during his military service, Matan was entrusted with building camps for his fellow soldiers, which further honed his skills. And then after relocating to the San Francisco Bay Area, Matan's love for architecture was really reignited. He became inspired to blend that old world charm of homes with modern design and innovation. And that whole passion really led to the creation of Mission Home Remodeling, where he focuses on updating, preserving the unique character of homes. We're excited to hear Matan's insights on remodeling and the journey that brought him to where he is today. Matan, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be here with you and good to see you again.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of talking about your journey more and where you've actually taken your company so far, which has been an astounding success in a short amount of time. But before we jump into that, Matan, just kind of reintroduce yourself in your own words. Tell me about your company, where you're located, what you guys really specialize in.
Sure, definitely. My name is Matan Schejter. I live in San Francisco. Our company is out of San Francisco. We work in most of the Bay Area. San Francisco Bay, if anyone knows how it's built. Basically, we go up to the most east we go is by Orinda. We've done a few there. We go up to Mill Valley, Sausalito, Tiburon, up in Marin, and all the way down to roughly Los Altos and in the Silicon Valley. We specialize in mid to large to new construction homes. We know how to do very standard projects and very unique kind of projects. You can see on our website, definitely. But there's very unique type of homes in San Francisco, the architecture, so we focus a lot on preservation of older homes and modernizing kind of really crappy old ones that
Right. Is there a lot of permitting and kind of hoops that you have to jump through with the historical homes and working on those types of preservations?
First of all, every home in San Francisco needs to go through a historical evaluation, especially before going through a large kind of remodel. And if you want to change anything on any front, even if it's just a standard kind of front, you need to get a special approval for that. That can take some time. Any change to the facade can be kind of a big deal. We know how to do that already. We know where to guide you for the right types of architects for things like that. It's definitely a struggle. I would say maybe sometimes over struggle.
San Francisco bureaucracy, right?
Crazy. It's crazy. If you Google right now, permits in San Francisco, I think like they average at something like 2 years or something. So
Oh, wow. Wow. That doesn't surprise me with California at all, especially San Francisco. Got your work cut out for you just trying to get a permit through it, sounds like.
I think that actually the San Francisco's new mayor, that was a good part of his ticket, was speeding up construction permits in San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think we got a new mayor after. You could probably look it up. I think it's been at least 8 or 10 years since this mayor has been here.
Oh, okay.
So we're up change. Definitely hoping for some change over here
Okay.
on that front.
Right. So, tell me, kinda tell me more about how Mission Home Remodeling got its start, what really inspired you to enter the industry?
Um, Absolutely. Definitely. I've been working in the city for quite a while. Love the love the business, love the field. Kind of had my own. I worked for other companies, of course, especially in the area. I kind of found my niche in the city. The company I was working for was outside of the city, and I started doing jobs in the city. Um, I, I really do love it here, and you don't need to go crazy on the highway and all that, and drive like crazy. You can keep our jobs like 20 minutes from each other. So instead of taking 6 jobs all over the place, we can bundle it in and take like 8 or 12 jobs much closer. And if we have another job, we have a few managers now. That take jobs in the south or the north of the bay. Really, so that's on that end. But I started working. We started the company about 4 years ago. We're going on 4 years now, and been doing good. I mean, exponentially growing. Got a new office this year. Pretty nice location, right in the dead center of the city, Hayes Valley on Goffin Grove. Um, it's a walk-in. We can meet here, show the clients what we do, go over the plans, go over the jobs. And yeah, we have several really nice jobs right now going on, and several that we've finished not too long ago. Some, fourth story additions, and 1,500, 1,200 square foot extensions in San Francisco is not simple. It's 8 months to a year long jobs. Full relationship with clients. Yeah. How to be, very patient, understand their needs. So I think we specialize really in that, being able to, keep a long relationship. And, things come up and there's stress, and there's never been a job without any stress or something comes up in these old homes. So we already know that. We're already, we know how to handle it. We know we're going to get yelled at for something. It's, that's why we do the job, right? If I was to walk in and do your job right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You guys do a lot of ADUs there, accessory dwelling units, so, add-ons, above the back of the house, above the house, above garages. That's pretty popular there, right? Kinda don't have a lot of new real estate to work with.
Most popular ADU is instead of the garage, or convert a portion of the garage. So the way the houses are built, they're very thin, right? The Edwardians, the Victorians. So, and they're very long in the back. And so let's say the garage slash basement could be, 40 feet or whatever. And we take half of that and turn it into, uh, 800 foot unit pretty quickly. And that actually, if you maximize the density, is what they call it, of the existing building. So if you dig and make it 8 feet, or 7.6 is the minimum, make it usually 8 or 8.6, or we could do 10, and replace the foundation in that portion. That permit does not need to go through planning. right? But if you make the window on the front of the house 2 inches wider, that'll have to go through plan.
Wow. So just as we know government works, just doesn't make sense at all usually in most cases. Wow, building a whole new foundation, whole new back of your home basically, and doesn't have to go through permitting.
Well, it needs to go through permitting, not through planning. So planning, oh, okay. In San Francisco, it just needs to go through building, and that's, we can walk in once or twice. It takes about 3 months instead of 2 years in neighborhood verification. That stuff. So you asked on design, like where we come in, if there's an architect and they are telling them, oh, we should do this and then we should do this to the front. And I'll say, listen, your house is going to be ready in 3 years, so 3-4 years. I would recommend to not do this and not maybe, let's focus on this portion. Put more, a little bit. It's going to cost, it could cost a little less or cost a little more, but probably make more sense in terms of timing and,
Right. It sounds like, I mean, obviously you really have to know your stuff there in San Francisco, and it's all kind of infill development. You don't have any new land to work with. Do a lot of your success stories really come from the guidance that you're able to give customers? Just really, like you were talking about there, really guide them down that path where this is going to be, 3 to 6 months. This is going to take you 3 years to get through permitting. Like it sounds like that's really key there for you.
absolutely. I think that really is what differentiates us. Um, you know, most of the companies, it's it's cheaper to be outside of the city. It's cheaper to live outside the city. It's cheaper to have your office outside the city. It's cheaper to have your workers outside. Everything costs less, and so it's less of a risk. Most companies that come from out of the city and do most of their jobs outside of the city. They come in for a job in the city, and they go through things that just they cannot handle. They don't know how to handle. The guidance and the experience really sets us apart on that for sure, especially in city jobs. And it also helps us outside of the city because every other job that we take in the suburbs, let's call it, or whatever, becomes like a piece of cake, right? So
Yeah, easy. Um, so, I know your passion for architecture, building has been with you kind of all your life, just knowing you for a while now. How has the initial vision for your company changed over time now that you've been in it for a while? You've owned your company now for close to 4 years. You've seen everything that the city has to throw at you, different customer requests. How does that initial vision compare to where your vision is now for your company?
yeah, that's a good question. I think we used to be, you know, just take any job, um, and get as much on the calendar as we can and work through as much as we can. And over time, we since we built the reputation that we have and with what we're able to offer, we have a very strong team, very strong office, project management, very, very strong. And we don't judge them when a project goes smooth and easy, right? I look at my guys, they're like, all right, this thing's going off. We have a mess over here. How do we handle it? And they know how to, we know how to really take care of those. And so because of that, I know our value, and we really get to pick who we work with at this point. So it really helps us. We love, meeting new clientele, but we won't just take any job. We want nice jobs. We want nice people to work with. It's really important.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's only so many projects you can do in your lifetime. Do you want to work with people that are fun to work with, that are going to be great clients, been a great long lasting relationship, or you look at some of those clients that you're like, I'm just not really sure I want to take this job on. This could be a nightmare.
it's if you got to work with people to understand that things can go wrong, but we are going to fix it. And mistakes happen. It's a lot of details. It will. That's the really the big uh difference.
Right.
I think.
Okay. Besides some of the challenges with permitting, maybe just trying to really bring to life those customer visions. What are some of the other big challenges that you really are facing in the remodeling industry? Maybe the industry in general, or specifically there in the San Francisco Bay Area.
It's a good question. I mean, I think the main challenge is we are in the nice to have uh, sector of the economy, and so when things are good, you have a lot of work. But when things are bad, things slow down. Fortunately, things were bad over the past few years, and really, we were able to keep up really nice, and build the company really nice, and still, you know, get over that hump. We didn't really feel a hump, but that's just because the type of service that we give. So I think that's a really big challenge for a lot of people. Um, that's I think all over the place nationally, though. I don't think that's a local thing. Yeah.
Right, right. Your guys' growth is really been extraordinary to me, just knowing the history of your company and just starting out to where you're at in revenue now. I mean, it's not a normal case study. There's got to be some things that you're doing that really help set you apart. Care to share any of those industry secrets on how you have grown so quickly, so successfully?
I like I said earlier, and I'll keep saying, you really need to care, about your clients. And, once you sign a contract, you got to finish it till the very end and do everything that you said, and not, you know, and be nice to the end, even no matter what. Yeah, I've had cases and where, if a job takes so long, you live in someone's house, right? So you're with them for a year and they can't see you anymore naturally. You know, taught all my guys, taught everyone, always be respectful, always be nice, always finish what we said we're going to finish, make it look nice. Doesn't matter how they talk to you, you know, we're going to do what we said we're going to do. And, I think that's, you just have to have good karma in that kind of part. Be honest, you know, just communication, show, don't do things, don't half-ass anything, and don't, you just be honest and show the clients what's going on.
Right. Don't take that relationship for granted.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said it's a relationship. That's what it is. It's a partnership. It's a relationship. And these long jobs, it's not a 4-week job, or it's not a 4-day job. We're talking about 4, 6, 8 months. Like that's, daily talking conversations. You need to see us. You need to hear us. We know we turn out to be like helping people with their marriage and with their kids, and a lot of stuff that
Therapists and marriage counselors all included, right?
about a family when we come in, slowly, where they like to go on vacation, everything. So
Do you charge extra for the therapy sessions, or is that just kind of part of the package?
but we're still working. We're working on it. So we
Working how you can line item that in? I think it's fun to make fun of that a little bit, but as a remodeler, I come from that background as well, and you think you're getting into architecture, to building, to design, but customer service, customer satisfaction, that relationship, it really matters, and it matters for your whole team. Like, that's something that your whole team has to focus on, right? You have to be talking about that in weekly meetings on expectations for the customer and company culture and how everyone is a representative of your brand. That's something that you're probably constantly reminding your whole team of, right?
Absolutely. Number one for me. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
So, what kind of trends, innovations are you seeing there, in San Francisco or maybe overall that you guys are kind of trying to stay ahead of and really trying to keep yourself above and ahead of the competition?
Um, that's a good question. Do you mean, tech wise or in what sense?
Tech or design? I know you've guys, you have a lot of really unique buildings there in San Francisco, the whole Bay Area. Is there you retrograde fitting a lot of these with new tech and innovation, or are you able to do that in historical homes? Or, what like, how do you really try to stand out from your competition when you're pitching a project, a design? What are some of your go-to, I guess, closers on how you guys are different and better than your competition?
That's a really good question. Because it really, really, really changes, especially on these old homes. If someone wants an old home that's completely modern, everything's very, techy on the inside, and everything's very different. But for it to look like it did before, and so yeah, all the smart home stuff, all the, yeah, obviously we know how to do all that. I don't think it's like that new of an innovation. I mean, to me, but yeah, and for the older ones, keeping them old, it's really hard. You gotta have the right vendors and all that. The windows, they don't make them anymore. I've seen some expensive windows that look like crap, or look like, because they're not allowed to do they're not allowed to make them look any different either. So they have to get this crazy expensive custom window that the same way they built it in 1894 or 6 or whatever. So we're doing a lot of steel in San Francisco. Most jobs now have steel, so all reinforcements of steel, a lot of um, steel beams, strong walls, really heavy, heavy stuff, to prevent from earthquake, shakes, things like that. That's
The using more steel, is that mainly for building integrity? Just, you're building on hills there and that's surrounded by the bay, that sort of thing?
even on flat, and like it's really pushing for steel. If you put a steel beam, they really like that. You get approved pretty quickly. Uh, a lot of um, a lot of earthquake retrofitting. Uh, so a lot of foundation stuff. Really, almost every project that anybody wants to do um, usually requires something like that.
Right. A lot of that is gonna it sounds like it's gonna cost a lot more. It's gonna be higher quality work. So how do you kinda strike that balance between the more expensive materials, higher quality work with trying to help the customer manage their costs effectively?
Yeah, that's a really good question. A lot of times, people want to do only one thing. Okay, let's say they want to open their kitchen wall. Um, and it draws so much of that extra work, and we're able to give them that warning that the city will make you, replace half your foundation if you do this, or put shear walls throughout the whole house, yeah, things like that. And so we're able to guide on that. It's not, it's not, cheap to work here. By
Right.
every- the price of the house is not the only expensive thing. It's expensive to do construction. And so, yeah, if you're, doing any structural work, you're probably going to have to do a lot more structural work than expected. So I always kind of get that warning. I always, try to, if someone's got kind of a lower budget, steer them away from it because of all the things that can come up. So, if you want really nice kitchen cabinets, and, you only have a certain amount of money, you want to take the wall, you got to decide. You want the cabinets or do you want the wall? But
Right.
how much?
Yeah. Give or take. It kind of makes me think about the misconceptions surrounding the remodeling industry. A lot of people think, "Oh, yeah, you can do it for this price, you can do it for that price," and they don't even realize that materials cost more than what they're thinking, much less, what you're gonna charge to actually do the work, manage the work. Is that one of the biggest misconceptions in the remodeling industry that you think? Just, people not really in tune with the pricing and where things have gone, especially with the inflation we've experienced over the last several years?
Absolutely, especially for new home buyers that come from out of state. You know, I've come and, bid on jobs, um, that seem pretty simple to whoever bought the house, coming from, I don't know, Pittsburgh or, wherever, even Denver.
We're still gonna see sticker shock out there even here.
They are like, "What?" It
Yeah.
they bring 4 or 5 more guys, then it's the same thing, so, uh, I tell them that too, especially if I'm first, and they're like, "Whoa, we can buy another house somewhere else for that." Yeah, you should, you know?
Hey, or do you wanna be here in the Bay Area? This
Exactly. There is a quality of life, in a lot of these areas, though. I think San Francisco is on its way up. Been cleaner lately, much cleaner. I think that they're doing nice work.
Yeah.
Way back.
But San Francisco has always been one of the crown jewels of the country, really. I mean, everyone knows how beautiful the city is, the architecture, just the buildings, the uniqueness of a lot of the buildings, the historical ones. You either pay for that or you choose not to. It's really as simple as that. Can you afford it or not?
There's only one, there's only one. Only one San
Yeah.
Francisco.
Yeah. Kinda goes back to your philosophy, the where you guys specialize, it's the nice to have, remodel, you don't have to do it, you have the money to do it, and you either make that choice to do it or you live with what you have and be happy with your $3 million home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
D any, I know you mentioned really having those relationships with vendors is really important for, newer people in the industry or maybe smaller companies. What advice would you give them in terms of building those strategic alliances or partnerships, that really can help benefit them in their journey?
I would say it's very, very simple, and whoever doesn't realize it, probably will never realize it, but pay on time, be respectful, be nice, and be professional. Those are easy, like, and it's give and take too, my guys that I work with now, they do a good job, and I'll only give them the job, because I know that they do a good job, and if they don't do a good job or they screw it up or whatever, which can happen, of course, in anyone, even the best carpenter I've ever seen can screw up, but, the best engineer can make mistakes. But if they, know that and own to it, we keep coming back to them. So I have vendors that, but they can't keep up just from work, only from us. So
Right, right. That's some really good advice, for those newer companies, just really respecting those relationships. These are the guys that are going to make or break your company. Either they're doing quality work that you're never going to have to come back on, the customer's never going to see, or they're not taking pride in their work.
Yeah, don't scam anyone. Don't connive. I mean, like, yeah, you're gonna get don't. Yeah, if you're don't, you shouldn't do that ever. But especially not if you want to have good working relationships with people.
Yeah.
Who are doing great and making a lot of money, but they were cheating or doing this and lying and all this kind of hustling, which is not that's not the way to build a long-term brand.
Right. Like you said, karma really comes into play. It's something I believe strongly in as well, that, you do the right thing and treat people the way you want to be treated. It's going to work out in the end for you. It's just the way the kind of world works, I think.
Absolutely. I think so too.
If you had to go back in time and start over, or if you were starting over right now, what would you do differently? What advice would you give someone if they were starting out in your shoes right now from scratch?
That's a good question.
You haven't made any mistakes, right? It's hard, right?
Well, in mistakes, I made a lot of mistakes. The last
Yeah, just kidding. We all do.
Yeah, I mean, the mistakes I made, just diving into the deep water because that's where I wanted to be, or also the advice I would give. So it's a give and take, just be ready to lose a lot of money. Um, if you think you're gonna, I say a lot of my losses are my investments, are my school, are my, yeah, I can't even tell you. But yeah, I got to finish a project right. I'm not gonna leave it in the middle, and so if I'm starting to work with a loss, it's more money than I ever imagined that I would be just giving out, just to keep my reputation and keep my name, and not only that, but I want my clients to feel good at the end of the day, no matter what, even if it took an extra month or 2 or 3 to fix something. So doing those mistakes, they're scary, but now I make a lot less of them, I'll tell you that. A lot
Yeah,
less.
you learn quickly with expensive mistakes.
Exactly. And don't overpromise. Always conservative. If, someone's stressed out and someone wants you to promise, some kind of a, certain budget that you have to stick to, and no matter what happens, don't do it. Yeah, because things can come up that are out of your control, and you don't want it to fall on you because you don't want to fight with a customer over whose mistake was it estimating. Don't overpromise. Don't overpromise on timing. I always give double the time I think it's gonna take.
Okay, it's a good rule of thumb. I like what you pointed out there about really estimating projects, and don't try to, pound that square block into a round hole saying, okay, that's their budget and that's what we got to do it for. You've got to estimate the project and you've got to figure out what it's going to cost, build in some cushion, because you're going to have to do some extra work, and either it works for the client's budget or not. And it doesn't, it's not starting with the budget. It's starting with what's the project's going to cost, and does that budget then work or not?
I'll give you an example of mistaken. So I worked on a full home remodel, um, with a basement, conversion to, uh, it's not an ADU, but it's now part of the house. Let's call it that. So now the basement, we made into a bedroom and a bathroom. It really came out great, beautiful. The clients came with plans from an architect. We changed it up a little bit so that we can take it to the city. We got the permit pretty quickly. And, and it was one of my first jobs, and when we signed, everything was great. And they were like, listen, we only have this 350,000 plus, I don't know, about materials for another 100,000 or maybe a little less. So let's say that's our last 450. Um, and are you sure you can make it work? And, I really wanted the job and I said yes. And so, come the time, the city wanted us to retrofit the foundation. And, it's something that cost me like, yeah, say $30,000 to do. And what I said, like, can you guys help me out? Like 15? Can you give me 15? So, I split that with them, and then the city wanted to do plumbing changes, and yeah, and it became, and they got so stressed out that they stressed me out because they were like, "We're gonna lose our house. We're gonna lose our house." In the end, I finished everything. I knew I would. I finished everything for them exactly how they wanted. I even just recently came and fixed another thing for them. I'm not. It's once I signed it, I signed it. I will give you the best service. But yeah, I couldn't do any change order, which on me is stupid. It's a stupid, stupid, stupid mistake. But I learned from it. So if I always tell the clients, before we sign, if it's your last dollar, I don't want to do it. And you shouldn't do it at all. Actually, you should not do it at all. I'm a good guy. I will probably even get it done if I say I do. You never know who says yes and then they really tear your house apart and just leave you like, ugh, awful.
Yeah, doesn't feel good to be in that situation at that point. Yeah. Well, you're a man of your word, though. Like you say, you stand behind it, and you saw the project through to the end, and lost some money, or lost some profit for sure out of it, and learned your lesson, and you probably haven't made that mistake again.
Mostly lost sleep.
There you go.
I lost. Yeah, so
Yeah. Yeah, stress. Taking some
absolutely. I learned.
Yeah, stress taking years off your life, or at least a few months off your life.
Yeah, it's the stress like rolls. So when you get into that, it's like a ball. It's like a snowball, and then you make another mistake and another mistake from the stress. And if you don't fall for the client's stress, because you keep doing what you do. We know how to do it. The fact that they're freaking you out. That's what we really learned. Don't let them
Yeah.
freak you out. It's really important, because you're the professional. You do your job. It's great that they've done projects before, and it's great that they built their mom's house and they've done this. Even if we live and breathe it, so otherwise you would do it on your own. So yeah,
Right. They hired you for a reason.
keep reminding like we're doing it, to finish. It's a tough city. You know, calm down.
Yeah, yeah. Keep calm and carry on, I think I've heard somewhere before. Well, Matan, as we kinda wind down the interview here, what's the future goals for your company? What new opportunities or projects are you looking ahead to?
Future goals are to keep on the path we're keeping on. We're growing. We're growing in a few other directions. We got some surprises coming up. We're hiring really good people. We just hired another manager. And so we have growing capabilities, and we want to really expand in the area and really you know be at the top. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about more of your success. For homeowners that may wanna get in touch with you, quality craftsmen that may wanna work for you, remodelers that may wanna learn from you, how would people get in touch with you?
It's a good question. I Everything's on our website. Just fill out the form. Uh, Give us a call during business hours, and um, yeah, feel free to reach out.
What's your URL? Missionhomeremodeling.com?
Yep, missionhomeremodeling.com. Just go on our website. It's easy to navigate. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, great to hear. I really appreciate you coming on, Matan. Thanks for sharing your insights. Some really good takeaways there, especially for other remodelers to not make some of those early mistakes that you've made. So great insights for homeowners on questions to ask of a remodeler that they're hiring, especially there in the Bay Area where things are really tough. So really appreciate you sharing some of your insights and some of the experiences you've had. It's really been some great takeaways for me, and I think it will be for some others as well.
Really appreciate it, Bob. As always, thank you, and thanks for helping us through. And always good to talk to you. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, everyone, that's a wrap today with Matan Schejter of Mission Home Remodeling in the San Francisco Bay Area. Thanks for tuning in today, turning on, and hopefully you took some great insights away from that. We'll see you again on the next episode of the Home Remodeler Toolbox Podcast. Take care, everyone.
Hey, if you liked our podcast, join the remodeling community and hit subscribe. We would love to hear from you, so be sure to share your thoughts on what you might want to hear about in future episodes. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, visit homeremodellerseo.com and check out our services that can help build your foundation for success. Thanks for tuning in to the Home Remodeler Toolbox Podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode.